I think I use my privilege to start with a question. One of the key issues I think we haven't addressed at all today is that really aren't companies using social media only to provide and maximize the visibility in the search engines? So is social media a crucial part of search engine optimization, I could say?
Can I start?
Yeah.
Can I draw a big picture for you? Because how we every day see people, how we think of social media. I think now what I've seen today, we have been talking about marketing almost only. So it's about three things. There is the company itself, and the company has people. And then there are partner companies, and then customers. And instead of only thinking about the marketing side, companies should really think the whole big picture. And many of the companies are now starting inside the company, because the transparency is so big thing in social media. Many of the companies think that they are not ready for it, so they want to try first having their own internal blogs and Yammers and Google Documents, how they share them, and Skype. And I think this is something that you should all keep in mind all the time. Not only focus on the marketing side, but start building from the other parts too, and think it as a bigger picture. So I think social media, how you can link it to your own company strategies and processes. Sorry, what was your question? The original one, because I wanted to draw the bigger picture first.
Okay, my question was that couldn't we describe that social media is just a search engine visibility system? So if you get a lot of content from users, you're more visible within the search engine. As I'm going to ask Aurinkomatkat if they drop their Google AdWords campaign after they get enough content on the web.
Kind of answered you in this picture, that it's much more, and it's only a small thing, the marketing and Google optimization or search engine optimization.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges is that most companies see it from the top or the bottom up. I think if you're thinking about search engines, I think you should first define why are search engines really relevant to you. And there, I think, something like customer engagement journey strategy or something like that actually has sort of your services, your marketing, your sales, etc., all these things attached to it. And then, apparently, only then you can define whether search engine findability is relevant to you. And then, in many cases, it might be. Most companies, I think, are still struggling with the fact that how to find themselves in the search engines, and then the social strategy, and etc. They're seeing all these things as the social media strategy as a separate thing, and then the search engine marketing strategy as a separate thing. I think they all go under the umbrella customer engagement strategy.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that the question. Short answer, yes. And long answer is that I was kind of surprised to find actually that out, because my background is not travel, it's basically software sales and stuff like that. But in my discussions with the commercial directors of many big European online travel companies, they plainly told me that the only reason they have any kind of user journey content on the site is to drive the SEO, and that's the only reason. They don't care about knowing anything about what the kind of consumer wants, where they want to go, and even if they use the content or not, they just buy the content even from somebody to produce it to drive SEO traffic. And so it's that in a way it's a sinister view, but that's how it goes.
Go on, have a comment.
Yeah, our way is to look at it that way. There's 1 million people who travel on package tours in Finland per year. And then there's another 1 million who travel some other way. They do it themselves, basically. we have no problem, or our competitors, we have no problem of being found on Google or somewhere else. People use Google so that they type our domain name there. So there's no point of paying for that. They will find us anyway. We get 200 to 300,000 visits on our website every week. So it's not a question of being found. What comes to the other million that don't use package tours, who want to do it themselves, then search engines come into picture. So we can, in surprising places, we can get them into Place in the Sun service, and that way to our service. If they want to do everything themselves, but because we are old-fashioned and we are too big, they don't look at our way in the beginning. So this is a new reach method to get them on our service, but it's not something you should be looking in or concentrating at first. You do your own business, and then you use the social media if you have your own business well, but you can't do it the other way around.
Thank you. I'd like to raise a question from message wall. How much time, human resources, does a company need for social media actions at the beginning? So how much resources are needed to get started?
Well, from an internal perspective, we did it, and still we're struggling with it ourselves. I think we resourced 3 people. One who's responsible for Twitter, another one who's responsible for Flickr, and a third one was responsible for something. And in the end, the Twitter account was what actually then started to develop. So we had 3 persons, and currently we have 1 person who's sort of responsible for the whole umbrella, but it takes quite a lot of effort.
At the moment, we don't have 1 person who's responsible for it. There are a few people who are monitoring it, but it doesn't take any work at the moment. The customers are doing all the work. Okay, in the beginning, it took a little bit brain work and about same amount of money than average TV campaign costs. But it's over in 2 weeks. Now we have a service that will be running for years.
Other comments?
Actually, when we got started, we had a team of 3 thinking about how we are going to do this dialogue. That we recognized that we need dialogue, and then we started thinking about how to do it. And we had a very good partner building up the site, so we haven't done it ourselves, and they are still monitoring it. But we are, of course, the voice in it, and we are reading all the initiatives, and there's a lot of work reading through those ones, but and sending them to the right department. But luckily, we do have this customer help desk who can actually do the routine work. But otherwise, our communication team, actually, it's part of their daily job to follow the social media conversations, what's going on, and so it isn't only 1 person or 3 persons, it's part of the whole team's work, but not only job. And that maybe we should have 1 person just doing this, but that's something to think about.
In Zipipop, we all are in social media, all the team members. But if we think of like bigger companies, they should find social media team inside the company, people from different departments, from IT, marketing, and then people who are really active and they want to take part in social media and start from there. And usually they need help in the start, that somebody outsider comes and help. But that's how we, at the moment, in Zipipop, what we tell companies and what we've been doing with bigger companies.
Okay, thank you. There was a question at the back.
Are there any trends? Today we just discussed Facebook, Twitter, but there's also LinkedIn, Xing, and country-based, probably hundreds of social communities. You mentioned something like the moment we are on Facebook, we also appear in Twitter. Is that simply something like RSS feeds, or how are you doing it?
if you open the Facebook fan page,